Alright, what kind of skills have we got? Sure, we'll add some health. Here's some time limit. I do like that one. I'm not sure I'd necessarily want to increase bullet capacity. That doesn't sound like my, I don't see how that would help. So we'll just go with Lost in Pots all alone, and then we will leave. Trial.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
This isn't the first class trial we've been in, Monokuma.
If you can figure out who done it, then I'll punish everyone. Okay, then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon!
Oh, it's for the DDR minigames. Okay. It was... Is this not obvious? We have one bullet, so it's probably obvious.
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound.
Sure was.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
Excuse me? I'm just answering your question, Taka.
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been? I bet it was an iron pipe.
There we go.
No, it's wrong.
No!
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell, found at the scene of the crime? It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
I mean, we were never given that information. The information on the shape of her head wound.
You looked at her head wound?
Why does that surprise you, Hina?
Yes! That's so creepy!
And?
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit.
Do we have to?
Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
What? For real?
For real?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
It is kind of creepy, yes, but also necessary. Probably. Another one. What's up? Interesting. Okay. That's not how guns work. Is that a motherfucking Persona reference? Yes, yes it was. You know, that's not wrong. I don't actually remember what my difficulty is set to, but it sure ain't gentle, so... Alright, let's go.
The culprit is Genocide Jack, I'm sure. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible.
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on. There's just no proof for it.
No, that's wrong.
That was a she, Makoto? Come on.
I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
Gasp!
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library. I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kinda weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth, so let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case. The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
No. No. Try again.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
Do I have to?
I got it!
Congrats, you
Apparently,
did it.
In every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way.
That is in fact Hifumi just being Hifumi.
Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way. So, how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it? There's only one logical answer I can think of. It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
Nope.
No fucking way!
You tell him, Mondo.
You're
It's
saying
wrong.
Genocide Jack is one of us?
No.
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
Gasp! I can't believe it.
What? Hey, okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has, like, bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Bloodophobia. Love it.
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
Another riddle. Man, why is this gotta be so complicated?
Oh, here we go. It's Hangman time. Come on, where's the O? There we go.
Now I understand. Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
I feel like most people would not have been able to figure that one out. They should have just made me spell split personality.
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file, too. They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
That's the one.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
Is it maybe because her behavior changed?
I got it! You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
They are the same voice actress, yes. There's also Sothis in Fire Emblem Three Houses. And Edea in Bravely Default, which is where I first heard her.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Now there's a sentence.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can handle blood, and one that obviously can.
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
Okay, but how would that work, though?
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How?
Couldn't the other her just, like, open the door?
Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
What?
You promised! I can't believe you lied!
Maybe don't make it so obvious next time.
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to. This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale.
Right? Right, Sickaby?
Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone.
Yeah, this boy in particular would be the worst person to tell your secrets to.
But in spite of that promise,
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me.
Well, clearly he was never gonna hold himself to that.
That's the only reason I promised.
how many times do I have to tell you? I never said that, but you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
It's not her fault.
I swear I tried to control it,
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I hate you.
I doubt that.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
The person you don't mean.
Yeah, you think it.
Hello there! Is it me you stopping to see. What the heck? So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do?
In the words of King Bob-omb, put your tongue back in your mouth. It's quite undignified.
I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
I don't know, Genocide Jack has a much better ring to it, I think.
What the fuck is this?
Mondo said a bad word.
Toko, what happened to you?
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's fault.
Okay, calm down. What is with your teeth?
So intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
God, now where do I recognize her voice from? Like, other than this?
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
I'm looking this up. This is gonna bug me.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
Miss Jack? That's not her last name, you nincompoop.
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you, I am the mastermind of all masterminds! Just kidding!
Then it's not true?
Of course it's not true.
Of course it's not true! How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid?
Of course it's Erin Fitzgerald. It's frickin' Chie. That's where I recognize her from. Okay, mystery solved. Thank you, Sickaby.
And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless!
Apparently Toko and Jill have different voice actresses for some reason.
I mean, they just let this idiotic, bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town!
Yes, she is from Persona 4. Except she had a different voice actress in the original Persona 4.
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people. It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone.
I've never seen Ed, and Eddie, so I do not recognize that aspect of her. No, we don't want to kill Jill in front of people. Then we'll
This
die.
should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death.
Well, that's just not true.
There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, except that if it was the real Toko who killed her, then, like, she would have fainted at the crime scene. Probably repeatedly. And if it was Jill, then I don't think she would really care that much.
But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
But I cannot imagine.
anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth!
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster!
Genocide Jack and Jill walked up a hill. But they were the same person.